So the thing is, we're recording, so we'll get it off to the main, like we'll get it off to the Pro Tools and Logic channels. I think the main thing is the time where people in LA are like 8 hours behind, so it's like early morning and stuff. So I think that's where trying to find the right time. I know a lot of people do webinars like 8 at night and stuff like that. But I thought
Yeah.
that might be a little bit late for everybody. So,
Yeah,
We
no,
just
it
had
is. It's difficult.
Vanny
Yeah.
join in, just heads up.
say again?
Vanny.
I don't know
Vinny,
yeah,
Okay.
that was the same person that was in earlier, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
what we have now? 7?
Uh,
Yeah, and then
yeah.
accounts iPhone.
Well,
Okay.
maybe that someone didn't rename their Zoom, their name.
Okay. So
Oh
what we
yeah,
have,
that counts my phone.
what
And
we have now?
Vanny's got his hand up. I don't see
Okay.
how
So
them.
we're live on YouTube now as well.
Oh, great.
Okay.
I just wanted to get it going because it kind
All
of
right.
takes a moment for me to set it up.
Well, let's go for it. Let's go.
Sure, Jay. So go ahead and introduce everybody.
Yeah, okay. So hi everyone, and thanks for joining, and thanks for those of you who are watching in YouTube, and we're going to be recording this so that I think this is an exciting moment, and I think every visually impaired musician, producer, engineer needs to see this because Softube has been doing some amazing work, in making their console one accessible. The console one Mark II was accessible for like the last 2 years, and it was awesome. Since then, the console one 3 channel and console one Mark III channel and console one Mark III fader has been introduced. And wow, what a difference, my really special friend Arvid has been, working tirelessly. And what was amazing, Softube, they had accessibility in mind when designing the new console one channel and fader. So, it was like from the ground up, accessibility was on the mind of the company, so it wasn't like an afterthought. So when it came out, it was awesome and ready to go. And all the new features that are available to sighted users in console one Mark III channel and console one fader Mark III channel are accessible for us out of the box. Sometimes when things come out, we say, oh yeah, it's out, but we have to wait months or sometimes even a year for accessibility. These units launched on day one with accessibility in mind. And without further ado, I want to introduce two of the people who are really super forward thinking and who have worked really hard and continue to work hard to make this happen. My friend, Patrick Hellstrom. Patrick, I want you to meet everybody in our community who's here.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself and stuff, what you do at Softube.
Yeah, these days I'm a senior developer. So I'm tasked with planning forward and handling the tougher tasks. Mostly I'm today working on plugins and not console one, but that's where I started at Softube. And a few years ago, when we hired a new developer, who will introduce himself a little bit later, I needed something to him to do, and because he was joining the console one team and they were busy with the release. So I thought, well, let's try this accessibility thing. And after a few weeks, he had something that sort of worked. So we contacted Jason because I met him in London, and decided to do this properly. And that's how it all started.
Thanks so much, Patrick. And I want to introduce you to somebody. Sometimes, here people are passionate about accessibility and they're excited. Well, they're passionate when you get an email from them 7 o'clock in the morning, right? Hi, Jay, I have an idea. I have a great idea. Let's log on to Zoom, Or I say, what about this idea? And then I get an email 1 hour later. Yeah, Jay, it's a good idea. I got it to work. I did it, right? That's the kind of people, we really look up to, in terms of promoting accessibility. And that person is none other than my special friend, Arvid Johnson. Arvid, I want you to meet everybody. Say hi.
Hi, I'm Arvid. Thanks for all the compliments. Yay. I'm a plugin developer at Softube and has been the main developer for the accessibility on console one for these last 2 years, more or less.
Great. So So any thoughts, any questions, anything so far, any hands raised, anything, Steve, everybody?
Looks like we're all
Yeah,
okay
good.
so far.
Okay,
Is
so I
there
want
any?
to introduce you to the other people on our panel now. A really good friend of mine for maybe the last 5 years, Steve Vasquez, who's kindly, hosting this webinar for us, streaming on YouTube. Steve is always a phone call away, an email away. Steve, I need some help. He's always there, he's a really, really dear friend. And Steve, I just want to say thanks so much for making this happen. And at the
Oh,
same time, I want to introduce, Steve's buddy and co-host, Victor, who I'm meeting for the first time. Victor, thanks so much for, taking time out of your day to do this with us and, to help us host this webinar and get the news out there to the world, to the visually impaired community that Softube is making it happen for us, breaking down, really, as the title of this webinar says, breaking down the barriers for us. So thanks so much, Vic, for being here as well. And
Pleasure to
Steve,
be here. Thanks, Jason.
yeah, Steve, want to say hi to
yeah, no,
everybody?
thank you, Jason. It's awesome to have this opportunity to share what Softube is doing. And it was great to host it a few years ago as well, and continue that now moving forward. And anytime, Jay, anytime you need help getting the word out, we can do it.
Thanks, Steve. So maybe so I think Arvid and Patrick, I think let's do this together. So I'll give an overview of what, for those of you who have not experienced Console One, who may not know about it, I guess we do a little bit of overview before we go into the demo. So what it is, so as visually impaired engineers, we've been working hard, finding lots of workarounds for, doing what we do, mixing and mastering, right? And a few things were accessible, in our DAWs, Pro Tools, Logic, etc. We can basically read most stuff, but it's not the experience that sighted people have, right? They can just jump on the console, look at the meters, look at where things are, where we get it done and we get it done well, but it's a bit more work for us, right? So what the Console One channel and fader do, they're full, if you want to call, and Arvid and Patrick, feel free to correct me and chime in wherever you want to. But what it is, it's a full mixing system, kind of like a control surface. There are two units that work hand in hand. So there's a Console One channel, which features everything like EQs and compressors, and you have your shape module and filters, really amazing. And that's fully accessible, lots of knobs and no faders on that unit. It's just knobs. You can control everything. So for example, you would like select a channel, and then like the one volume pot would be the volume for that particular channel, right? If you switch to another channel, the volume pot would be control the channel. So you're controlling everything channel by channel with the Console One channel. With the other unit, the Console One fader, you have 10 faders and also some knobs and everything. So it's a little bit more it's a little bit more immediate. So for example, I can grab fader number 4 and maybe move fader number 4 and 5 together, whereas on Console One channel, I'll have to select channel 4, work with it, then select channel 5 and work with it. But the fader gives you a little bit more immediate control, and they work beautifully hand in hand. I think, and Patrick and Arvid, you can daisy chain more than one fader unit. So for example, you wanted 20 or 30 faders, you can have more than one unit, right? But
I
in a
think
nutshell,
our official statement is 4 faders at the
4
same time.
faders.
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine 40 channels and imagine 40 accessible channels that talk to us, right? So in a nutshell, that's what the system is, the Console One channel and feeder, right? Now, Arvid has gone, people talk about going the extra miles, Arvid has gone 100 extra miles and made things like meters accessible to us. So we worked. I was fortunate enough to be invited on the project, and it's been a joy for me working with them. And a lot of the ideas I got was from how I work, right? So, for example, I'll give you an idea. So one thing that we've been speaking about, Patrick and I spoke about it first, and then Arvid came on board, and we spoke about it was metering, right? So as time, for example, we learn to hear pretty well if something is clipping or distorting, right? Being visually impaired, we accustomed. I'm sure you guys could relate to the fact that we would kind of be very cautious in terms of listening carefully if something clips, and we got good at it, right? Because I can mix without clipping and stuff just by ear. But when I wasn't sure, I would call my wife Sarah, and I'd say, Sarah, can you look at this meter for me? Tell me where it's clipping, right? And tell me if it's clipping. Tell me where am I peaking? I'm setting up a drum kit. I'm setting up an input level for a vocal. We just so I would ask her to just confirm for me. Just so that I'm absolutely sure when I'm doing a master. I just want to make sure my levels are hitting a nice place without distorting or anything. So I kind of told Arvid about this, right? And here's what he did. We implemented meter reading in a couple of cool ways. So for example, we can read the meter on demand, right? We can press shift and a couple of keystrokes, which I'll show you when I do the demo. And we can say, hey, what's the meter right now? What's it hitting right now? So that's fine. And we can do that for the input, output, and the gain reduction meter for compressors. And there are two compressors on the new console one. So we've been able to read each compressor individually. We can tell how much gain reduction meter is happening at any one time, right? And then, so we can read the meters on demand, right? So we can either read the first compressor, we'll see where the gain reduction is hitting, or the second compressor. So for example, sometimes when I'm mixing, I like to stack compressors, right? I would compress maybe one to just roll off the peaks, and then there's another gentle one. So I can read what each compressor is doing, how much gain reduction is being applied, as well as I can read the combined gain reduction, which is amazing, of the two compressors. So yeah, so that's one thing, right? So that's cool. We can read on demand. But then another thing that Sarah would do for me when I'm actually setting levels, she would monitor the levels periodically for me, right? So she would say, okay, it's peaking at -12 now. Oh, there's -9, -15, right? So I told Arvid about this, and Arvid, being the genius he is, decided to make the meters also readable in time intervals. So he's implemented a feature where we can actually set the meters to read anywhere between 2 and 8 seconds, just like if we had a sighted person sitting next to us reading the meters for us, at intervals. So whenever I have a lot of opportunities where I show Console 1 at universities and colleges, etc. And the way I describe it, honestly, I think when I'm using this unit, I don't feel blind. I feel like totally empowered. I think I have the same accessibility as a sighted user, right? And Arvid has gone way above the call to make that happen, to make it feel that way, and I'm being totally honest here. I feel like if I'm not blind for that moment when I'm using this unit, I feel, okay, this is how a sighted person feels, the same efficiency, the same confidence, when using the unit. So yeah, so maybe I can start to show you around. Any thoughts, any questions yet and stuff? Anything to add, Arvid, Patrick?
But not really.
Patrick, anything?
Covered it well, yay.
Say again? Patrick?
You covered it well, yay. So I think we're good for a demo now.
Okay, sounds great. Okay, guys, so I'll show you in Logic. And oh yeah, for those of you who've been using Pro Tools, it works great in Pro Tools now. Everything that I know a lot of people held out on purchasing because they were Pro Tools users and the integration wasn't there with the sends and stuff. So I'm happy to say that in the Mark III, Console 1 channel and fader, everything works in Pro Tools beautifully now. So, but I'm in Logic, and maybe if you guys are interested, I can switch to Pro Tools after. So I'm going to, let me,
Reverb 1, partially hidden.
can everybody hear my voiceover properly? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a project loaded up here in Logic. So I'll just play a little bit of it.
and the world's a lonely place, so I found out tonight when I broke your heart and stole it from inside. Now here I am.
Yeah, so that's basic project. So I'll just go a little forward, a little further forward into the
2
song.
bar. 8, 19 bar.
Thinking,
I'll go to the
22
chorus.
oh,
20.
tears that I cry are forming, rivers so deep I'm drowning.
Okay, so I'm in console. So I'm now going to go into console 1, right? By hitting the on-screen display button. And we have a really special feature that I'm saving for a little bit later. I can't show you this one. It's not audio, but it's something that's going to blow you away. So I'll have to talk about it. So you're going to have to get your own console 1 to experience this, right? But it's something that's amazing. So I'll hold that for a little while. Again, it has to do with metering, etc. Right? So I'm going to press the on-screen display on console 1 now.
Application. Console 1. System dialog.
Okay, so our sighted viewers, you see me in console 1 now, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So here I am, and how it works in banks. So I'm going to go onto the channel first of all, and there are 20 buttons on the channel, so I can select up to 20 tracks, right? So, and then there are page up and down buttons, so I can move to, let me go to the first bank, so I'll press the page down button.
Page down 21 to 40. Page down 1 to 20.
Right, so again, I'm going to go up.
Page up 21 to 40. Page up 41 to 60.
Right, so let's go back to, okay, so, all right, the track I have with the music is actually track 44. So I'm going to press number 4, right, because I'm on 41 to 60, so I'll press 4.
Selected track 44. For Jason Dasent Tears I Cried Cross. C1 core.
Right, so it's telling me the name of the track. I just imported a WAV file into Logic to show you this. So it's called Jason Dasent, my name, and then the name of the song is Tears I Cry. And then it's telling me it's track 44, and then it's telling me that I'm using the core mixing suite. And the core mixing suite is a channel strip, a really, really nice channel strip that Softube has built, right? And it contains EQs and compressors and shapes and DSs and really nice stuff. So let me just move around. So what I have now loaded is my actual template that I work with every day, right? So I have, I think I have like 24 audio tracks, 16 instrument tracks, right? So I'm just going to kind of walk through everything a little bit. So I'm just going to navigate around so you can get an idea of what is what. So I'll go back to the first bank.
Page down 21 to 40.
Right? So,
page up 21 to 40.
Okay, so I went all the way down, but I was just pressing it quickly so it didn't say 1 to 10. So I'm just going to move through the tracks now. So track 1 would be something like audio 1. Oh.
Selected track 1, lead vocals, C1 core.
Okay, so I named it. So this is where, like, just by habit, I'd come in on track 1, I'll do my lead vocal. On track 2.
Selected track 2, audio 1, C1 core. Selected track 3, audio 2, C1 core.
Right, so I just named 1 for the lead. I think 5 might be like my melody.
Selected track 5, audio 4, C1. Selected track 6, back vocals, C1 core.
That's a folder, right? That's a folder where I have like all my background vocals. Next one should be like melody.
Selected track 7, audio 5, C1. Selected track 8, audio 6, C1
right.
core.
So that's where I kind of lay everything down. So and everything has the, imagine you working like on a real like hardware console where you have like lots of channels set up, right? So everything that now has the console 1, the core mixing suite channel strip set up, okay? So let me jump back to the track 44.
Page up 21 to 40, page up 41 to 60. Selected track 44, for Jason Dasent Tears I Cried Cross, C1 core.
Okay, so cool. So our next thing we face as visually impaired users is we buy a piece of hardware. It feels great, it looks great, but what are the buttons on the console 1 hardware? What do we do? So normally, I guess we'll get a sighted person, in my case, Sarah would help me learn the layout, right? But Arvid has taken care of that as well, right? What he did, he implemented something called training mode. So I'm going to turn it on now.
Training mode.
Right? And what training mode will allow me to do, it serves 2 purposes. One is, as I move any control or touch any button, it will tell me what it is, right? It will also tell me the value that it's currently set at. And why that's important is, sometimes when we're working, we would actually not want to hear speech while we're mixing, because once we learn the units, right, we know, well, now console 1 features what they call one knob per function. So for example, a high gain EQ will always be a high gain, no matter which channel strip you load. Like if you load the Softube core mixing suite, you know, the high EQ would be the same knob as if you loaded like an SSL or an Imperial Labs or a Neve, right? So you learn it once, and once you learn it once, you know, it becomes muscle memory. A ratio would always be a ratio. The same knob will control ratio no matter what compressor you load, right? The threshold will all be the threshold, right? So it's really easy to learn the unit. But to learn it, we put it into training mode, and we can touch any control on the unit and it will tell us what the control is. It will also tell us the current value. So where that's important is sometimes you want to mix without hearing voiceover or whatever screen reader talking to you, right? Because you want to concentrate on the music. So imagine you boosted some high EQ, right? It sounds great, but I want to know what it is. I want to know how much I boosted it by. Now, I had the speech off because I was concentrating on the music and not the speech, right? I didn't want the speech to distract me. But yeah, it sounds good, but I just want to make some adjustments, but I want to know what it is. So what I'll do, I'll put it into training mode, and I would touch the high EQ knob, the gain knob, and it will tell me something like, it will tell me that it's the gain knob, and it will tell me how much is boosted or cut by. So it would say like high gain 3 dB or high gain 5 dB. And even if I turn the knob, it's not going to change it, right? Because it's just informing me what it is, what the knob is, and the value. So that way I can say, oh, it's 3 dB. Okay, let me make it 4. Maybe I just want a little bit more. So, you know, you have that precision of like knowing exactly what it is without messing with it. Or imagine someone else was working on the mix and you came and you wanted to see what they were doing, right? You wanted to see, imagine Patrick was mixing and then I came to kind of take over to finish the mix because Patrick went for lunch or something like that, right? I could say, oh, this sounds good. Let me see what Patrick did here. Put it in training mode, touch the knobs. It's going to tell me exactly what Patrick did, you know? So I would get like a visual picture, a mental picture, should I say, of what's happening, you know? So you're always in control. You're always aware. Yeah? Does that make sense, guys? Yeah? Okay, cool. So I'm in training mode now. So I'm just going to touch a few buttons and stuff, and you get an idea of what it is.
Input gain 0.0.
That's the input gain.
High cutoff. Low cutoff. Low cutoff.
Right? It's saying off, and I'm turning it now, right? But it's just saying off because it's in training mode, right? I'm going to touch some of the buttons.
Tight shelf. Tight shelf.
Right? So this switches between a shelf, a cut, and a bell, right? But because it's in training mode, it's currently set to a shelf, right? So I'll show you in a second what it would do.
Shape 2 off.
Right?
EQ 2 off.
Good.
Release 4.0.
That's for the threshold.
Ratio 4, 1.
Into the compressor section.
Compression 15.0. Compression 15.0. Q 0.50.
So see, I'm just touching things around it, right? And it's not doing anything. It's just telling it. So this is a great way when you get the unit out of the box to come and learn it, right? To come and learn what the buttons do, what the hardware does. And this is a really cool thing, right? So I'll take it out of training mode now.
Default mode.
Right? And I'm gonna actually mess with the I'm gonna mess with some settings now. And this time I'll actually be making changes, okay? So the first thing I'm gonna do to make it really obvious, I'm just gonna use the low cut filter and filter out a lot of the low end, right?
Gate off.
So
sustain 0.0 decibel. LOW cut off.
Right? So check this out.
Tears that I cry, rivers so deep from
LOW cut 284 hertz.
Right? So right now it's 284 hertz, right? So
tears that I cry for man.
Okay, so I just brought it back to 0.
High cut off. LOW cut off.
Right, let's do the opposite. Let's grab the high cuts now.
Tears that I
High cut.
so deep from
You see, nice for like creating filters. And the nice thing, these are all automatable, right? So you can automate this in your DAW and get some nice effects and stuff, right? So
LOW cut off. High cut off.
okay, so
Release 0.10s.
all right, here's what I want to do. I find there's a little bit of build-up, maybe around 300 hertz or something like that.
Gain 0.0 decibels. Frequency 280 hertz.
Yeah, 280 hertz, right? So this is a low mid gain.
Frequency 280 hertz.
So yeah, this is a low mid EQ. So I just want to filter out a little bit of
Frequency
this.
280 hertz.
Just want to filter out a little bit of this. So let me do this.
Tears that I cry are forming rivers of
Gain 13.3 decibel. Gain minus 13.5. Gain minus 9.7. Gain minus 4.6 decibel.
tears that I cry.
Yeah, that kind of cleaned it up a little bit, but let me maybe it's a little too much.
Gain 0.0. Gain minus 0.3 decibel. Gain minus 4.6. Gain minus 3.9 decibels.
Tears that
Frequency 417 hertz.
Okay, I'm going to tighten up the Q a little bit.
Frequency 400. Q 0.50. Q 0.61.
tears that I cry are forming rivers of
Let's give it a little bit of high shelf boost, maybe.
Frequency 10,000 hertz.
Yeah.
Q 0.30.
Okay,
Frequent. Gain 0.0 decibels.
let's see what the type is.
Type bell. Type high cut. Type shelf.
Okay, good.
Gain 0.0 decibels. Frequency 2,500. Frequency 10,000 hertz.
Okay, so
tears that I cry are forming.
Gain 10.9 decibels.
It just dropped
Gain 10. Frequency 13,086 hertz.
let's drop it to about
Frequency
80.
frequency 7,100. Frequency 7,600.
Tears that I cry are forming rivers.
Gain 7.8 decibels.
Maybe a little bit too much.
Gain 5.0. Gain 0. Q 0. Gain 3.2 decibels.
Tears that I cry are forming rivers so deep.
Okay, so I'm gonna grab the okay, so I'm going over to the next unit now, the fader. So I can do this. I can grab the volume knob on the console 1 channel. Remember, the console 1 channel doesn't have any faders, right? But there's a volume knob. So I'm gonna just use it and change the volume.
DA volume minus 2.9 decibels. DA volume minus 14.1 decibels.
Okay, so when I say DAW, it's saying DAW, right? So so what it does, it's synced with logic. And it would, so when I move the volume here, it's also moving the logic, the fader in logic, which is really cool, right? So check this out.
Tears that I cry are forming rivers so.
Right, so I'm just messing with the volume there.
DA volume minus 1.3 decibels.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump to the fader unit now, the console 1 fader. So I'm actually gonna move the faders, the physical faders on the
High
console
cutoff.
1 fader.
Input gain
Right.
0.0. High cutoff.
Okay.
High cutoff. LOW punch 0.0 decibels.
Okay, so I'm going on to the fader now, right? And I'm gonna just use the page button to make sure I'm on the right.
Volume 0.0 decibels. Fader bank 21 to 30. Fader bank 31 to 40. Fader bank 41 to 50.
Okay, so I'm going
Volume
to
0.0 decibels.
gonna grab the fader here now.
DA volume minus infinity dB.
Okay, so this time, guys, I'm gonna turn over.
DA volume minus 17.4 decibels.
I'm gonna
DA
turn it.
volume minus 17.5 decibels.
Okay, so this time I'm gonna turn the mode selector off, right? And I'm gonna go to 0, right? But check this out, guys. So, Arvid, should we give them the new surprise on the new unit now?
Why not?
Why not? Okay, so I'm turning off voiceover.
Logic Pro. Untitled.
Right.
Tracks. Window. Reverb 1. Hidden. Channel strip group.
So no music is going to be playing, right? But I'm going to move this fader to 0 dB, right? You're not going to hear it talk, but I'm going to, when I get it to 0 dB, I'm going to ask the sighted users to confirm for me that I'm on 0. But I'm going to tell you after how I know when I hit 0. Okay, so here we go. Moving the fader right now. And I'm going to turn back on console 1.
DA volume 0. In console 1. System dialog. Content is empty.
Patrick and Arvid and Vic, I'm dead on 0, right?
Yep, dead on.
Dead on 0. Guys, how do you think that happened? Okay, I want you to unmute Vic because I want somebody to give it a guess, give it a thought. How they think that happened? How did I get to 0 without voiceover talking to me?
Are you there, Vic?
Yeah, I just unmuted everybody. It takes a second.
Okay.
Anyone?
Okay. No worries. No worries. Yeah.
I want somebody to take a shot of telling me how do you think I got to 0 dB without voiceover? How did I get dead on 0?
So this is Vitor. Does the interface have any kind of position that the knob indicates us that can, kind of give us a clue whether if it is on 0 or not?
Okay, it's better than that. It has
Can I have
haptic.
a go?
Yeah, sure. You go.
Is it a haptic?
It sure is. It sure is a haptic, right? So when you hit 0, it would the fader would give you a nice bump. So that's how you
This
know
is
when.
Duncan here.
Duncan, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
It's haptic feedback. So it gives you a bump when you hit 0, right?
Yes,
Alternatively,
it's much better than just having the screen reader talk, and it's
yes,
physical kind of perception that your hand.
exactly. And it
Haptics.
gives you,
Does the console vibrate?
we're gonna
The
get to that
fader
in a second, right? So this gives you a bump here, right? It also, when you're panning, you can do a fader flip, and then the pan will hit when the pan hits the center, it will also give you a bump, right? When you do a fader flip. So this has to be done on the console 1 fader, right? To answer your question, yes, it vibrates, and the vibration is really cool. So we can set where we want it to vibrate. So we can say if your level hits -6, vibrate. If it hits, or maybe we might just want to say when it hits, maybe we can say when it hits -3, vibrate as well, right? Not as well. We can choose where we want it, where we want that haptic feedback to happen, right? Where we want that vibration. Then we can say if it clips, if it goes above 0, vibrate. So for example, we just working and then suddenly fader number 5 starts to vibrate, right? We know that we're clipping on we know that we too high on the level of channel 5, right? So we know, yeah, hey, we got to pull this down, right? We can see, what's where it's clipping and stuff. Isn't that cool, guys? Isn't that like super cool for us?
That's brilliant.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's wonderful,
Jason, I just want to clarify a thing there. So there are 2 different haptic feedbacks for each of the fader. All the controls have a haptic point at 0, for example, or like all gain or volume and those sorts of things, parameters that has a 0 will have a haptic point at 0, so you always know where 0 is. And then we also have that the fader will react on the volume meter so that it will start vibrating when the volume is clipping the point that you yourself set. For example, -3 or -6 or 0 or yeah. I hope that made it clear.
Yeah. Clear enough for me. Everybody understands what Avis just said?
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's amazing.
Yeah. So
How does it feel? What does it feel like in your finger?
You just bought one, so when I show you, when I set it up,
I've only just opened the box.
when I set it up with you on Friday, you see what it feels like, but it feels good. You can set how much you want it to vibrate. You can in the settings, you can see like
Okay.
vibrate.
Jay, is the haptic
Ah, we
feedback?
can even set how it will vibrate, more or less.
You can, yeah. You can. Guys, this thing, guys, I know Arvid is here present with us, but I just have to say this guy is an absolute genius. That's the only way I can describe working with Arvid. Can we use this with you're using it with Logic, right? So yes.
Can we use it with other DAWs like Reaper, for instance?
Yes, you can, Arvid. And Patrick, gonna chime in here?
Yes. Logic is the one that we have the deepest integration with, and Pro Tools and Cubase. For those 3, you don't actually need to place the Console 1 plugin on your tracks to get control over volume, pan, and solo, mute, and ascents. Those you will always have control of. If you want more control or use the channel strips in Console 1, you still, of course, need to place the Console 1 plugin on them. In Reaper or Ableton Live, you always need to place the Console 1 plugin on your tracks. But when you have done that, the experience is exactly the same.
Well, that's not a big deal. If you just have to install the original Softube plugin, but can we use, for instance, other plugins, other third-party plugins like compressors and other stuff from, for instance, Ozone Elements, or all those plugins with the Softube console in Reaper, as long as we have the original plugin installed and as long as we have it working properly.
It does FabFilter. Yeah, go ahead.
For some, we have support for FabFilter plugins and UA plugins. We are discussing with more plugin developers.
What about the stock ones? What about the stock Reaper ones?
No.
Not yet.
Sorry.
Not yet.
Not yet, at least.
But here's what happened, and I transferred to doing pretty much everything using Softube plugins now. So like the EQs, compressors, everything, they're beautiful. They're really, really nice. And I transferred. I stopped using everything else because because I was testing and working with the team for so long, I just got accustomed to it, and I love it. So pretty much everything you hear. I'll play some stuff for you guys in a little bit, but it's doing everything for me. Everything that I could possibly want it to do, it's doing for me.
So when we buy sorry for asking, because I'm really, really curious about it, and I'm really, really thinking about purchasing one. But before, I would like to have the most information possible. So in order to use this, we don't need to use other plugins. If we buy the console, we have every plugin we need, and we don't need to use any other third-party stuff, right?
Patrick,
with the console one, I believe that our core mixing suite is included. If you want to use the rest of our plugins with the console one, you will have to buy them separately.
So other than buying the unit itself, we have to buy the plugin separately.
Yeah, if you want to use anything else except
the most recent version of the console.
But the core suite, when you buy it, the core suite is what I'm using now, and the core suite consists of 2 compressors, 2 EQs, a shape. Patrick,
two shapes.
Say again, two shapes.
2 shapes.
2 compressors, 2 EQs, right? And you have like your drive and character and stuff. So really and truly, pretty much everything you need for a basic mix, barring like reverbs and delays and stuff like that, and I'll show you how to do. So for example, you can use set up if you're in Logic or whatever, you can set up your Reaper or anything like that. You can set up your sends using in Logic if you use like Space Designer or Chromaverb or something like that, and control the sends and stuff from console 1. Yeah. So, but in terms of EQs and compressors and stuff, the core mixing suites is pretty much what you really need. They're really beautiful compressors and EQs. You have like the fast one, the FET compressor kind of thing, and then you have the smoother opto compressor. Yeah. And then I think you have.
So you can use this thing as an audio interface and a controller as well.
No, it's not an audio interface. It's just a control. It's a control.
Just a controller.
Yeah. But,
and the plugins, the unit can cost about, and with the plugins, they are cheaper than the unit itself, or they're cost more or less the same.
Patrick,
can you? I'm not sure I'm following.
When you buy,
can you clarify what you mean?
So if I imagine I buy the console, I need to buy the plugins separately. Is it much more than the console itself, or is just kind of third or a fourth, or
Okay. So you will when you buy the console, you will get one entire channel strip, our core mixing suite. Yeah.
Okay.
But if you want more than other channel strips, for example, the Vice Gambit channel strip, which is a bunch of Vice plugins, or the SSL 4K or SSL 9K, then you will have to buy them separately. They are I don't know how I don't know on top of my mind what they cost, but they are much cheaper than the console.
Oh, let's hope so. But what about the console? What about
They're bundles. They're nice bundles. So I think they're like bundles of plugins and stuff that you can get, like a console one bundle and stuff. I don't remember what they are now, but there always are bundles and stuff. And I know you have like holiday sales and stuff, right? I see things going on sale all the time. So, it's a nice Christmas time is a nice time to purchase. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
You were asking something else?
I got a quick question. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
So the console one, the original one, had like, had one shape, one compressor, one EQ, all that kind of, one compressor, all that kind of stuff. But this one has multiple controls. There's two compressors that you can control at the same time and two EQs at the same time.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So if I have like the British Class A and the American Class A, and I have the original console one channel that came with it. I forgot, it's SSL 4000 or 9000.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
So you already have those.
4,000.
4000. So those will work with this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then and those only have one compressor, one EQ on them. Then I could fill in those extra slots with different ones, I suppose.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Okay. So
And I'll
I
show
could
you-
run, I could run American and a British Class A at the same time. And use
Exactly.
them. Okay.
Exactly.
I see.
And what's cool is you can change the order of the processors and stuff like that. So I want to show you that. This was a big one for me. When I got this, and Ovid again took care of this for us, right? So let me show you this now. So I'm going to put it in training mode to show you. This was a big one because, sometimes you might want to put your compressor before your EQ and stuff like that, right? Filters first and then the compressor and stuff, which was an important one that sighted people do all the time. So I'm going to put it in training mode.
Training mode.
Right? And I'm
Let's
going
produce
to...
material.
Go ahead. Were you saying something? Say again? You're breaking up.
I don't think he was speaking to you, Jay. So,
Okay, cool. So check this out. So I'm in training mode and I want to find out the order of the processors now, okay? So I'm just going to press the button to get the order.
Process order. Shape 2. Shape 1. EC 2. Comp 1. EC 1. Comp 2.
Okay, so let's change that order now, okay? So let me check it one more time. So again, I'm just checking the order.
Process order. Shape 2. Shape 1. EC 2. Comp 1. EC 1. Comp 2.
Okay, so that's how I set it up. So say I wanted to make so I think it's shape 1, shape 2, EQ1 compressor. So say I wanted to make the compressor the first item in the chain, right? I'm going to do this. I'm taking out of training mode.
Default mode.
Right? I'm going to hold down the order button.
Change process order. Use section buttons. The track buttons or scroll using select volume to select a subsystem to move.
Okay, so I want to move compressor 1 to the first slot. Okay, so I'm going to hit the compressor button.
Comp 1. Core suite fed compressor.
Right? So I'm going to now
select process order slot for comp 1. Comp 1. Core suite fed compressor.
Right, so this is the fed compressor. So I'm now going to turn the knob here and make it 1.
Move comp 1 to slot 1.
Right, and I'm going to press OK.
Process order. Comp 1.
Okay.
Shape 2. Shape 1. EC 2. EC 1. Comp 2.
So you see it move the compressor to 1. So I'm going to let me move EQ2 now to the second slot, okay? So
change process order. EQ2. Select process. Move EQ2 to slot 1. Move EQ2 to slot 3. Move EQ2 to slot 2.
Right, so press OK. And so it's going to be compressor, then the EQ.
Process order. Comp 1. EC 2. Shape 2. Shape 1. EC 1. Comp 2.
See how easy that is? You can just move things around where you want them, right? See how cool that is, guys? So just like a sighted person, just being able to grab it and slide it to wherever they want, we can do the same thing now.
It's magnificent, Jay. It's truly Arvid and Patrick. It's great.
Yeah, and thanks, Steve. So let's do something cool, right? So here's what I want to do. So imagine I had like a vocal and I like where the vocal is and I want to copy. Hey, this sounds good. Let me copy this channel to another channel, right? I'm gonna copy the settings I have on 44, which is the track I've been working with, the imported WAV file. Let me put that on like let me copy it to maybe track 41 and 43 as well. So check the message out.
Group current track with
Awesome.
all tracks ungrouped and selected track 44.
Oh,
For
sorry.
Jason Dasent Tears I Cried Cross.
Sorry.
C1 core.
I had group instead of copy, my bad. Here we go.
Copy current track.
Right? So it's gonna copy, let's copy it 41.
Copy current track to inst 14.
Okay, well, 41 I just called it inst 14, but it's because I had some audio tracks before. So I just got to copy it to another track.
Copy current track to inst 14, inst 16.
So you see it's telling me that it's copied it to both inst 14, which is track 41, and inst 16, which is 43, right? So I just let it go now.
Tracks copied.
Right? And it copied it now. So let's do something a little bit more obvious. I know that was a little bit strange because of how I have things laid out. Let me copy track, maybe tracks 1 to 3 and 4. So let me go to track 1.
Solo off on track 44. Characters, pan 0C.
Okay, let me do this now. Check this out.
Page down 1 to 20.
Right? So I'm gonna grab track 1.
Selected track 1, lead vocals, C1 core.
Right? And let me copy this to track 3 and 4.
Copy current track. Copy current track to audio 2. Copy current track to audio 2, audio 3.
Right?
Tracks copied.
The reason it said audio 2 because I think track 2 was actually called audio 1. So it's so what it did, so now tracks 1, 3, and 4 have exactly the same settings. Yeah. Another thing I can do, I can group them, right? So I can say, let me group, let's get to the instrument tracks, for example.
Page up 21 to 40.
Right? I think my instrument track starts at track 28.
Selected track 38, inst 11, C1 core. Page down 1 to 20.
Oh.
Page up 21 to 40.
Oh, sorry. Let's go copy.
Selected track 28, piano, C1 core.
Yeah, so piano has a C1 core. Yeah, okay. So let's do something. So for example, I'm going to group some tracks, right? So I'm going to hold on group.
Group current track with.
Right, so I'm going to group this with, check this out.
Group current track with inst 4. Group current track with inst 3, inst 4. Group current track with inst 2, inst 3, inst 4.
Right? So now if I do anything like change any EQ or compressor or anything like that, it's going to do it with all these tracks that are grouped, right? When I'm finished, I just hit any button and it will ungroup them, anyone.
All tracks ungrouped and selected track 28, piano, C1
right.
core.
So it's very easy. So like for example, you wanted to apply the same EQ, same compression to like a group of tracks, right? Another cool thing you can do is do something to all. So for example, if I wanted to maybe do something that will affect all tracks, I can do something like this.
Shift, entered all mode.
Right? Oh, Patrick, I didn't see that before. That's great. I didn't see that. That's real cool. Yeah.
Copy current track.
Yeah.
Copy current track. Shift.
Right? So when you do that, it enters all mode. And whatever you do will kind of affect everything. That's right of it?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep.
So I didn't see that before. That's with the latest build. That's real nice, actually. And then what he's also done, we have short and long messages. So if you wanted like a more detailed message, we can also make it give you, like when you learn in the unit, you might want a more detailed message. So for example, if I was going to copy something again, this is a short message, right? So I'll select.
Selected track 21, audio 19, C1 core.
Right, I'm going to copy that to track 20.
Copy current track. Copy current track to audio 20. Tracks copied.
Right? So I easily copied, the settings from 19 to 20, right? And it just said select tracks, and then when I did it, it said copy, right? But for example, if I wanted a more like, say I was now learning the unit and I wanted a more detailed explanation of what's happening, I'll go to settings.
Settings, knob speed accelerated smooth off scroll with select volume or page buttons. Confirm with OK solo. Cancel with cancel mute.
Right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump to some of the accessibility settings, so you can hear what the options are, like what some of the cool stuff you can do.
Knob speed, knobs, analyzer, analyzer, track selection, select track on solo off.
right? So that means when you hit the solo button, it will select a track.
Track selection, select track on touch off.
Right? There's a nice one too. If you just touch the fader and stuff, it would select the track, right? Select it for like being the active track that you're working with.
Fader touch show dialog when changing fader touch mode on. Use mode button to toggle screen reader training mode on.
Okay, so we have the mode button. When you press the mode button, it turns on the training mode that I showed you before. But for sighted people, they may not want to have this on. And what it does, it just changes how the display looks for the on-screen display, right? So we get into some accessibility settings now.
Short screen read readout.
Right? Short screen readout, right? That's what it's saying here. VoiceOver just pronounced it a little bit funny. So I'm going to turn that off now, right? So
short screen read readout off.
Short screen readout off, right? So I'm put it back into the main screen.
Main screen.
Okay. So remember when I copied the track, it just said track copy. It told you what track I was going to copy, and then it just told me track copied when it did it, right? So let's do it now. I'm going to do exactly the same thing, and let's listen to the difference in the message.
Selected track 23, audio 21, C1 core.
Okay, I'm going to press the copy button now and listen to the different message now.
Audio 21, 23 will be copied. Select the track S to copy to. Release group plus all to abort.
Right? So I'm going to copy it to the 24 now.
Audio 21, 23 will be copied to track audio 22, 24. Release group plus all to confirm. Tracks copied.
Right? See the difference in the message? So it kind of guides you through, tells you exactly what to do. Yeah. So cool. So I like it short. Well, because I've been using it so long, I like it short. So let me just put it back on short.
Short screen read readout off scroll with select volume or page buttons. Confirm with OK. Short screen read readout. Main screen.
Right. So let me just make sure it's doing what I want. So
copy current track. Main screen. Copy current track. Copy current track to audio 22. Tracks copied.
Yeah. So that's how I like it, right? So good. So let me just show you the meters now. I'll have to show you the meters, and once I do that, I guess, you would have pretty much seen all the important stuff. There's so much more, right? They're like favorites. So for example, you can set up a group of favorite tracks so you have, like, say you had background vocals, you could set up as favorites so that they occur like next to each other and stuff like that on the faders. Really, really nice. So, but it's just too much for me to show you like in one short webinar, but I must show you the.
You're doing great, Jay. We're at the 1 hour mark almost.
Yeah? Okay. So I'm just gonna go show you the meters quickly now. I have to show you the meters. So check this out.
Page up 41 to 60.
I'm gonna check.
Selected track 44. For Jason Dasent Tears I Cried Cross. C1 core.
Okay. So I'm gonna play this pretty softly so that you can hear so that you can hear the meter readout. Okay. So I'm gonna play it, and while it's playing, I'm gonna press shift and the cancel button to shift and the mute button and it's gonna read out the meter for me when I do it. Okay, so check this out.
Tears that I cry for men, rivers so deep I'm drowning.
Volume minus 18.0 decibels.
I just have it very soft so you can hear the meter.
Volume minus 25.3 decibels. Shift. Volume 0.0 decibels.
I'm gonna check the meter now.
Shift. Output minus 4.0 minus 3.0.
So okay, so what it said there, output minus 4 and minus 3. So what was happening was the left output was minus 4 and the left meter was minus 4 and the right was minus 3. That's like what a sighted person would be seeing, right? So every time I press shift and this button, the mute button, is going to read it out to me on demand. Okay, so I'll check it a couple times.
Shift. Output minus 6.2 minus 6.8.
That's left and right.
Output minus 3.3 minus 3.2. Output minus 2.0 minus 1.1. Output minus 5.2 minus 4.6.
So I just kept hitting it like every time I wanted to check it, right? But if I wanted to have my hands free to do something now, right? What I'm going to do, I'm going to tell it monitor for me every few seconds. I think I have it set to something like 3 seconds or something like that. So I'm going to do this. Check this out.
Shift. Input meter feedback on.
Sorry.
Input meter feedback off. Output meter feedback on.
Right? So
minus infinity.
It's saying minus infinity because nothing
minus
is playing.
77 minus 77.
Yeah, that's kind of like infinity.
Minus 57 minus 57.
So I'm going to hit play now. And
minus 59 minus 59.
It's reading like every 2 seconds.
Minus 58 minus 58.
Okay, I'm going to hit play.
minus 26, minus 26. Minus 27, minus 27. Minus 27, minus 26. Dot volume. Dot volume minus 18.8 decibels. Minus 20, minus 20.
Yeah, just raise the volume.
Minus 22, minus 21. Minus 20, minus 21. Dot volume minus 11.2 decibels. Minus 13, minus 13. Minus 12, minus 12. Dot volume minus 45.7 decibels. Minus 46, minus 46. Dot volume minus 28.8 decibels. Minus 35, minus 34.
Right?
Minus 58, minus 65.
So,
Minus 89, minus 89.
okay.
Shift. Output meter feedback off.
Yeah. So I could do the same for like compression. I could check either compressor 1 or compressor 2 to see how much gain reduction happening. I could check the combined compression, to see the result of the two compressors working in tandem. Yeah. So pretty much that's it. I've probably covered maybe 50% of what we can do with the accessibility. But in a nutshell, that's console 1. What do you guys think?
It's great, Jay. Thank you so much for sharing. And thanks to Arvid and Patrick. It's tremendous.
How you guys feel about it, everybody who's seen it?
Vic, go ahead and unmute the participants if you don't.
Everybody's allowed to talk. They just have to unmute themselves if they'd like
okay.
to ask a
Gotcha.
question.
Yeah. So everybody, when it gets
Command
feedback,
Shift A.
Yeah.
I want to mention one thing that I've been doing quite a lot of the last year during the development of the Mark III, and that is implementing a bunch of settings, so you can basically set how verbose the screen reader will be, how much information you want when you select a track. For example, you can set if you want the channel strip to be read out, or the name, or just the number, and in which order they will be read out, and if you only want the value of the parameter linked to the knob and the fader, or only the name. And also on the channel Mark III we have touch, so I have enabled a setting for you can set if you want, for example, only the value to be read out when you touch it, and then the name to be read out when you release it, or vice versa. Or if you only wanted to everything to be read out when you turn the knob, or nothing to be read out when you turn the knob. So I have basically tried to give you the possibility to set it how you want it. I'm sure there are settings that I still have missed, but I'm open to suggestions.
Yeah, it covers pretty much everything, because I use it every day, and I get back to Arvid with like my use case every day. So sometimes I'm working and say it may be nice to do this, but as he says, he's happy to open it up to everybody. So when you guys start using it, yeah. So I'm gonna get some feedback. How you guys feel about it? What you've seen?
Unmute yourselves if you want to speak.
Yeah.
Can anybody hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, okay. It's Ross here from Australia. I just bought the console, the channel and the fader about a month ago.
Yeah.
And I think I've been in audio for about 50 years. I think it's one of the most amazing bits of equipment that I've ever come across, just from a normal analog point of view, but also from the access, for blind people. And I just wanted to ask, you have the ABCD settings on there. If I flick them while the song's playing, can I automate them? The changes, say, from A to B and
yes, you can.
C?
Yes,
you can. Okay.
And if I automate everything.
Patrick, you might know this better than me. Can we automate the ABCD states?
I don't think so, but I'm not
understand.
certain either. I haven't been working on that part of the code base.
No, I'm not entirely sure if they are automatable.
Okay.
Oh no,
Is-
I didn't.
Patrick, is Pelle at the office still? I can write him and ask.
He probably left an hour ago. I'm in the
right.
meeting room, so I don't know.
Okay.
And with inserts, I understand that I inserted on the channel. I'm using Cubase 13, so I insert on the channel. But then I can also, if I want to insert a reverb, I'd say insert 5, I can do that, but I understand it's not controlled by console 1, but I would just control it the normal Cubase way. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty much at trade shows when I try to explain that sort of thing. Is like the console one really is your console, and then if you add another plugin, it's more like an old school outboard.
So let me show the sends quickly then. Let me show you the sends. So how I have my template set up in Logic, I have 2 reverbs. There's 6 sends, which is really nice. So I have 2 reverbs, 2 delays, a chorus, and I think I have like a doubler or something like that. So let me do this. So I'm going to
Logic Pro. Application. Console 1. System dialog.
okay, track. I'll go to my piano track.
Page down 21 to 40.
Okay, so
Selected track 28. Piano. C1 core.
so this is the piano. I have a little bit of latency because of the Zoom sharing. Right? So if I wanted, for example, some delay on this track, right? I'm just going to hit send to. Right?
High cutoff.
I'm going to hit send to. Now I'm on the fader unit actually.
Fader mode. Send to.
Right? So I'm going to
send to minus 88.7 decibels. Send to minus infinity dB. Send to minus 88.4 decibels. Send to minus 13. Send to minus 6.5 dec. Send to minus 3. Send to minus 10.5 decibel. Send to 3.9 decibels.
Okay. Right. So
send to minus infinity dB.
Moving one of the delays there. Let's go to maybe the chorus.
Please release all faders before changing page or modes.
Oh, hold on. Oh, 1 second.
Send 1 minus 30. Send 1 minus 30. Send 3 minus infinity dB.
Okay.
Send 3 send 3 0.0 decibels.
There. Let's get some of the first reverb.
Fader mode. Send 1.
Right. So I'm gonna grab.
Send 1 minus 30.4. Send 1 0. Send 1 6.0 decibels. Send 1 minus infinity dB.
See how easy it is to change the sends and stuff, right? Yeah. So I'll put it back in pan mode now.
Fader mode. Send 3.
Right. So
send 1 minus infinity dB.
Yeah. So I'm just swapping.
Send 3 0. Fader mode. Volume.
Right. So I'm back to controlling volume with the faders now. Yeah. And then I can also use the console 1 channel to use the knob, that same like volume knob and stuff. It will become like the control for the sends and pans, etc. Yeah. So yeah, in a nutshell, yeah, that's pretty much it. So very easy to control your sends and everything. So you just set up your effects like your stock Reaper reverb and stuff like that, and you can control the sends and stuff from the console 1. Any other?
Thanks for
yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Anyone?
I had a question.
Yes, this is Ray.
Go ahead, Ray. You're
yeah, thank you. Yeah, I got cut off. I had to reboot my machine, so I may have missed something quite essential. My question is, if I buy these 2 units together, do I need any other special type of connectors? Can I just plug it directly into my USB port on my computer, or do I need a special attachment?
It's USB-C. If you have a USB-C connection on your computer, it's just plug in. Oh, and also a power cord, at least for the fader. Needs external power.
So a USB-C and the both units together need the USB-C, or we run a cable from one unit to the other?
Yeah, exactly.
You can do either or. You can plug them in separately, or you could daisy chain them, and they come with all the cables that you need. Actually,
they actually come with the cables that you need. Oh, okay. And I missed another important point. I think. What were the price points on these?
Ray, did we lose you?
It depends a bit on where you are, but around $1,000 ish, €1,000 ish, I think.
I mean, for each unit separately, right? 1,000 ish for one
Yeah.
unit and 1,000 ish for the fader unit.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
not bad. Too
Isn't the
bad.
channel, isn't the channel a little bit less? The channel.
Yeah, that's true. There was a price drop recently, so
Can Arvid or Patrick, can you just check it online?
I can, but I
In console
only
1,
can
system
check the
dialog, content is
Swedish
empty.
prices since
Oh,
I'm
okay.
Sweden, and
Yeah,
that's
the Swedish price for the channel is at the moment equivalent of €900, and
Yeah,
apparently
but we
we're
have
still out of stock of the fader units, so it doesn't say what it costs.
yeah,
But we sold
but
out on the release
we
immediately.
really soon will have new faders.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we're getting delivery in a week or something like that. So
Yeah.
So this is
Okay,
this
I'm
is
sorry.
Ulrika.
Just
So
one
these units.
follow-up question with that. So you could use those two units independently, but
Yes.
it's better
Yeah.
to use them together.
Yes,
Yes.
depends on the use case.
They work quite a lot together. So for example, there is a we have only mentioned controlling the volume with the fader, but you can control any parameter that you want with the faders. And if you only have the fader, then you click on the parameter button on the fader, and then you scroll through all the parameters with the knob on the fader. But if you have a fader and a channel, you can hold down the parameter button on the fader and then touch the knob of the parameter that you want to control on the fader, and then that's how you select the parameter. So there are quite a lot of usability features that connect them and make them easier to use together than separately.
So these are not
Okay,
units made specifically for blind people. They are made for every people.
Yes.
Yes.
Sighted users. The only difference is that they are being adapted to blind people, and also sighted users use them as well.
Yes.
Yes. What I should mention,
amazing.
what I would mention is if you were buying one, my suggestion would be to buy the channel first. If you want like all the buttons or the gain and everything, as Arvid was saying, you can do it on both. You can select the parameter, you can select any parameter from the fader and control it. But if you were buying one first, I would recommend the channel, the console one channel, right? And what happened is everybody I do a lot of teaching and stuff, and everybody I teach who's bought a channel quickly bought the fader right after, but I think the experience on the channel will teach you the whole console one ecosystem really quickly, but of course it's up to you, and you're going to have exactly the same results. But personally, I like the channel. If I had to only have one, I would go for the channel,
And just
Did Ray
one
have a question? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I'm just sorry. Just one, because you may have covered this, and I apologize for reiterating a question that may have been asked before. So, from my understanding of this from previous Zoom, the plugins only work with these two units. I mean, so basically, if I wanted to put an effect on a particular channel, I mean, on a track, I could only use the included plugins.
What kind of effect are you talking about, Ray? What type of effect?
Well, anything like reverb, like I don't know all the different plugins that you could possibly, because certain instruments, they come with certain types of plugins for effects. For example, like you have Ozone 10, Ozone 11, they come with a lot of different effects, voice control, all of this. So are we saying that these two units together is equivalent to the Ozone 11 package?
Well, you have EQs and compressors and stuff, just like what Ozone has, right? EQs and compressors. Softube have all their own stuff, they call them console-ready plugins, right? But if you wanted to do like a reverb or something like from a third party, what you would do is set it up on your tracking Logic or Pro Tools, and then you'll control like then you can use the send in Softube in Console 1 to control like the amount. But like reverbs and delays and stuff don't come with it. Those you would use those as like stock or other third party plugins, but you can control their send levels from Console 1. But
Okay.
Console 1 comes with the core suite, which has your EQs and compressors and shapes and
Okay.
stuff.
But it doesn't
Yeah.
have something like, de-essers and, things to
Yes, you can
manipulate.
yes, you can DS with the shape unit, right? Patrick can have it, right? You can set up the shape, one of the shape units. I think the dynamic shape or something as a de-esser, right? That's correct?
You know that much better than me. I'm a guitarist. not a
Yeah,
producer.
Same-
You can
same
utilize the
here.
tool.
Yes.
Yeah, there are. I don't think all of the Softube plugins. No, not all of the Softube plugins are controllable from the Console 1, but quite or all our mixing compatible plugins basically, and
Yeah.
most of Fab filters and most of UADs, but any other third party you would have to either just be content with the send level or control it in another way.
I just wanted to provide a 13-minute warning because I will have to go, Jay, at some point. So
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So we,
May I ask a question? This is Atreyu Dunson.
of
Yeah,
course.
okay.
I just wanted to ask, earlier we said that there was Fab Filter, because I have Fab Filter Pro Q3 and I love their EQ. So we can use like all the Fab Filter bundles through the control. But also you said there was UA. Does this mean that we will be able to control like an Apollo with the
Yes.
control panel as well?
Yes, we have a special or a specific Apollo mode, so you can control the Apollo console through Console 1.
So like, so I could, so the interface goes compatible with the Console 1.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you guys.
And it would be the same thing, like the same gain knobs. Once you learn, like the knob's going to be the same, so you don't have anything to learn Atreyu. It's going to be exactly like using core suites, right? And
Wow.
Ray, you have like the Wise DS plugin and stuff is compatible with Console 1. The other plugins you're gonna have to buy from Softube, but they are like really nice DSers and stuff like the Wise DS and stuff that you can control off of Console 1.
No, sounds wonderful. I just have a special request. Can some of you guys call my wife and convince her that I need this?
I got a quick Pro Tools. Pro Tools, you didn't hook it up with Pro Tools, but I wanted to ask really
If you
quick
can run
about.
out of time, if you want me to show you Pro Tools, you can get in touch with me and I'll be happy to show you Pro Tools.
All right. Yeah, I just want to make sure, like you said, they said like you could just the Console 1 would control Pro Tools for volumes and I think pans without having to put on a channel or something like that.
Yeah, and mutes and sends, mute solos and sends.
So Jay, sorry for interrupting Troy and Jay. Anytime you want to demonstrate any of the other DAWs, if there's something slightly different, I can do this with you and we can record something so we can put it out.
All right.
Well, thanks, Steve.
That'd be great.
Or
Yeah, if you could, I know you put out videos of the last one and that was quite helpful. Maybe you guys could do something like that again for this one.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna mention about Pro Tools since you asked. We have implemented a Hui mode with the Console 1 fader. So if you want to control the volumes and pans and sends without the Console 1 plugin in Pro Tools, you need a fader.
Oh yeah, that's important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So for that reason, if you're a Pro Tools user, you're definitely gonna want to have the fader to have maximum control.
All right.
Which makes me want to say that maybe the fader might be a better buy for a Pro Tools user as the first unit, you think?
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can choose the parameters. Yeah. So for pretty much anything else, I would recommend the channel first. But for Pro Tools, as Arvid brings that up, it makes me think, yeah, maybe the fader might be the better first unit if you buy them one by one, if you're buying one at a time.
Cool. Thanks.
It's good advice.
Yeah.
We still have 10 minutes if
Yeah.
people have questions.
Anybody else? Any comments or anything? And,
Can
So
I
the-
ask a question?
yeah, sure.
CSI integration with Reaper is now very, very good. Do you think it would be a serious issue to use Softube just as with the inbuilt Reaper accessibility features, and use the knobs? Let me just, I think you may understand how I address the question. Just using Softube only with Reaper and without really, speaking. I don't know if I was clear. So what comes from the unit is from the inbuilt speaking, right?
Sound.
It's not from the screen reader.
Yes,
It's
it is.
from the screen reader. It's from the screen reader. So we have connected it to-
It is.
Okay.
It's not
This
like
is-
complete control. It's you thinking you use complete control as well, right?
System speech.
Yes, I use complete control. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like complete control. It uses the actual screen reader.
Oh, yeah, much better than that.
Okay, yeah.
Because I would think that
Zoom audio
as CSI
Zoom audio
integration with
device.
Reaper is nice, we
Menu.
could just use it physically, but as the screen reader is there already, so it's perfect.
Oh, yeah, definitely, And anybody who gets console one, I'll be more than happy, to spend some time and help you get up and running quickly, because the thing is, although it's so easy to learn it, it's really, really easy to learn it, but I'll be happy to answer any questions and to help anyone, who gets into the system and stuff, who gets into the Softube ecosystem.
System default.
I-
Pro Tools.
One second, guys.
Machine Plus. Vocast Pro. Add Pro.
Yeah.
Cal check mark.
Anybody
System
listening right now, this is Steve.
Pro Tools audio.
If you want to write, I had disseminated information to
Pro Tools
contact
au-
me.
Pro Tools
I'll pass that information on to Jason so that he can communicate with Arvid and Patrick. But feel free to reach out.
For sure.
Pro
And
Tools-
and
Ma-
and the
Machine
documentation
Plus.
is
Vocaster 2, Pro Tools
accessible.
Adam
Is
Audio.
that
There's a
correct?
web
Pro Tools
page
Agri-
that I
Pro Tools
provided.
Cal
It's
digits
in
check
what's on
mark.
a blog post that I
System
provided,
default.
but
Pro
I
Tools audio.
can
Pro
distribute
Tools
that
audio-
to you,
Pro
Ray.
Tools audio.
But if you
Okay.
just
Pro
Google
Tools audio-
Softube
Clarette A3 US Pro
accessibility,
Tools
I
audio-
think it
Clarette
pops
A3
up.
Right,
And
but
you
I'm
can
saying
like-
Softtube's
Microsoft
documentation is also
MacBook Pro
accessible,
speakers.
right?
Yes.
Yes.
It should be. It's on our web page and in the how are screen readers with PDFs?
Good, pretty good.
Yeah,
And
They're pretty
Softube
good
manuals are-
nowadays. Yeah.
manuals are perfect.
Yeah, so then it's both in the Console 1 Mark III PDF manual and there's a page on the Softube web page.
There was a great web page, Ray, for a breakdown of everything you need to learn
Okay.
and do. So
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds great. Yeah, I'm looking for. I'm excited. I would like to get both of these. At least like Jason said, if I can get one now, the console, and then get the other one later. I'm going to get
Ray,
both at the same time.
what DAW are you working in mainly, Ray?
Right now, I'm using Logic, but I also have like the Pro Tool, which I'm planning on getting. But I mainly will be using Logic, and
you
it should
would-
also work with Machine. Is that correct?
Arvid answer this one. Should it work with machine?
What is machine?
Native Instruments machine?
I would say they're kind of two different things, is how I look at it. But
It
yeah.
may, Ray, but we don't want to give you inaccurate information. Maybe I can have a quick look at some point. I can fire it up with the machine and see what happens. But
Okay. But
I don't wanna
basically, it's. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, I do use Logic, so I would be using it with Logic.
Ray, here's what you're going to do. You're going to insert machine as a plugin in Logic, and then you can use it in Logic for the machine
Yeah,
channel.
sounds good.
That's how you
There's
do
always a way to do it.
Yeah, think about it. That's what you do. You insert machine as like an instrument track in Logic, and then
Yes.
you insert console one as an audio plugin, and it's going to work perfectly fine. Yeah. and then
Excellent.
that's how you do that. Yeah, you know. So yeah. So how does
5
everybody?
minutes. Yep.
How does everybody feel, Ross? Everybody, Atreyu, Vinny, everybody is. Did you guys like what you saw today and stuff?
I
Yes,
think
Yep.
it's
very
great.
good.
Yep, very nice.
Fantastic.
So we're always here, and I want to say a special thanks to Arvid and Patrick and Steve and Vic for being
No,
here.
thank you, Jay. Thank you, Arvid. Thank you, Patrick.
No
You're
problem.
welcome.
Yes, thank all of you for putting this together and making it part of your fundamental product, that accessibility is not an afterthought, but it's a primary thought. Thank you very much. And that makes me want to purchase your products before any other products.
Nice to hear.
The thing too, I think that the accessible version is the same price as the non-accessible, if you want to put it that way. There's no extra
Yeah, it's
charge for
the
it.
same product. It's
Yeah.
you don't there's no difference between
No,
it.
it was
You
just-
you
that's very
turn on your screen reader and it's accessible.
yeah, that's
You,
very good.
you don't have
yeah.
you don't have to pay a blind penalty for using it.
That's right.
And
Yeah,
price.
that's right.
That's so fantastic, actually. Yeah, and the effort that these guys put into it. I mean, I've been with them for 2 years now, and and I also have to talk about Nicholas, who's not here with us. Also, big decision maker at Softube. He's always one to say, "Let's go for it." Like when we have an idea, Softube is always willing to, to make it happen. And I honestly believe my goal is, I think a console one system needs to be in the hands of every blind producer who's serious about their career. Because as I said, it makes me feel like if I'm not blind. It really, when you get into it and when I work with it on a daily basis, it's the most fantastic feeling, actually.
And you also have the advantage of having the physical knobs. That has always been a very good aid when we are trying to mix someone. Sometimes I get very tired of listening to my screen reader, and I feel the need of having physical contact with the knobs.
Yeah, you turn your screen reader off, then you have your haptics to rely on, so you can feel what you're doing. When you're ready to check what you did, you turn on training mode. So it's the best of all worlds. Yeah.
Yes, sure.
So anyway,
Jay, do you have any final things you want to say?
Steve, can you leave the webinar connected so I can talk to Patrick and Albert for a second after? And we just
Yes, we can. We can do that. I was going to stop the stream though here, but I didn't know if you wanted to convey any kind of information for you to reach out.
I think I've said it all. I think
okay.
As basically the main person working with them, I just want to say it's an absolute joy for me to see it grow from. I mean, I saw it from day one 2 years ago, and to see what it has come to, and it doesn't stop. He just keeps going. He always has a new idea, and it's going to continue like that. And although I can't imagine it getting much better because it does everything that the sighted people can do. So, but little things we tweak along the way, and as Arvid is saying, everybody's welcome, when they start using it to make any suggestion regarding the short messages, and but I'm just saying it's just brilliant. It's just, I'm excited, like super excited about this. I'm so excited to share it. I know when this recording goes out, I know the time was funny for people in different parts of the world, but I know so many people wanted to see the webinar, so we're gonna put it out there, the recording of it, and I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and thanks so much again.
Do you think that other brands are looking at this product and thinking that they could follow their example? I mean, is it such a hard work just to implement accessibility in such a product? Like, do you feel that it would be easy or it would be doable for other brands to follow the example of the Softube?
Patrick,
we've had quite a lot of questions on like audio developer conferences and things like that. I think the difficulty, it will depend a lot on how the framework by the developer have done, how easy it is to hook into the accessibility APIs that talk with the operating system. But it's getting there. It's more people thinking about it now than before.
So it's more a question of staff and workflow than probably a hardware question or something.
Yes, and the design of the product in general, because to to be honest, this has been a quite easy in general implementation for me to do because the console one was designed with workflow in mind from the start, and which made it easy. Not all controllers and all software has that as a forethought, so to speak.
I personally, from my point of view, if accessibility is going to be made more mainstream, that I'm going to put my money in the companies who put that as part of their design program. So I've already decided there's certain software and hardware I won't buy, and no matter how great it is, but it's not useful to me. So whatever you guys are putting out there, I'm going to buy. Okay, there's a lot of, other companies, they'll put out a piece of hardware and say, it's great, blah, blah, blah. And then we purchase it and they say, oh, there's no accessibility because we're an afterthought. In your planning, in your company, we're not an afterthought. And I think that should be rewarded with, our support of your products.
And I'm getting that support from big institutions as well. So for example, a university in Canada just told me that they're going to buy 5 console ones and 5 feeders. 5 channels, 5 feeders. Birmingham University contacted me last week. Or we're going to buy console 1 and console 1 feeders for our studios, So I'm doing everything I can, just to say thanks to these guys. They've done it for us. So we got to do it for them as well. We got to, Ray, I'm so happy to hear you say that. And, I must say, since it came out, pretty much every week, a couple of people have contacted me to say they're buying console ones. They either just bought it or they're just about to. My friend Duncan here just purchased a couple of days ago, and Ross, and so we got to make this happen. We got to work with the company. We got to work with Softube, as you say, Ray, to reward them for for putting us first. Not letting us be an afterthought. Yeah.
Thank you, Jay.
That's absolutely right.
We can keep talking. I'm just going to end the recording and the live cast. Thanks everybody who's watching on YouTube.
Hey, Steve, thanks a lot for setting this up and making this accessible to us.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, no problem at all.
Yeah.
No problem at all.
Arvin and Patrick, if you could stay on for 2 minutes, probably just chat and stuff.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, guys.
One last final
I'm
question.
leaving as well,
Sorry.
so thank you very much for having us all, and keep the good work.